bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo De Rosario.
We bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Maya Inside. In tonight's game plan, we'll talk about the toughest players to guard in the PBA as we begin to witness the action in the Governor's Cup.
We'll then play a little game called Would You Rather, but picking and choosing between qualities of our favorite NBA superstars. And we'll break down how Jaja, Santiago, Bryan, Bagunas, and Marck Espejo continue to raise the flag in the Japan V.League. Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. The PBA Governor's Cup is now in full swing and imports are ready to ball out for their respective squads. But let's not forget to highlight the talents of the top guards in the league. Now, if you ever wondered what it's like to match up against big names in PBA, Aaron Black from Morocco Bolts will give us his list of toughest players to guard in the league. Good evening and welcome to the game, Aaron.
Good evening, guys. Thanks for having me again.
All right. So,
Nice
Aaron, first of all, let's start off with your categories here. Basically, your rubric on why you picked these guys in particular. I look at all of them. They all seem to be of a certain mold. Before we name the first one, what's your criteria?
Well, for me, it's really if they're three-level scorers. By three-level scoring, I mean they can shoot the three, mid-range, as well as get to the hoop. Handles would be one of them as well. I think speed. And then, of course, that clutch ability in the end game to be able to win the game for their teams.
Okay, and Aaron, let's start off by talking about your team. How is your preparation so far for the Morocco Bolts?
It's been great. Actually, our import just came in a couple of days ago. We've had a couple of practices with him already. He's a great guy. He's gelling with the team. The team's great. We're all healthy. The guys are excited to get back. We lost in the semis last conference, so we're raring to get back this conference and hopefully win that title.
And also, how have you been recovering from your recent injury?
Actually, I'm great, fully recovered, 100%. I actually played the last game of the semis, but I was very limited. I wasn't fully healed yet, but when I came back to Manila, I did a little bit of therapy and I was able to get back to work right away.
Well, you got to be 100% when you want to check these particular guards that you listed here as the toughest to defend. So let's start off first with two-time PBA champ, Terence Romeo, as one of the toughest players to go up against. Just saying his name just reminds me how hard it will be to defend him one-on-one. How is it actually being right in front of him?
Well, actually, last conference was the first time I played Terence because the first conference I played, my rookie conference, he got injured before we played them. So I actually have had a lot of workouts with Terence. We used to actually live in the same village. So I've seen him in person, but it was totally different in the game. He's that guy who has probably the best handles in the league. And just like I said a while ago, three-level scorer, can score from the three, the mid-range, and can get to the basket. And his ability to make tough shots, I don't know who else can compare to that in the league.
Yes, and you've also got another two-time PBA champ in your list. We have Stanley Pringle of Henabra. And here's a look at his stats from his previous conference.
Of course, when you look at the numbers that he has, it's going to be something. It's really incredible because when you look at it, you think that, so he can score in these numerous ways. But then it's not just about the scoring. It's the fact that he can shift you left and right and get you out of the picture. Aaron, how tough is it guarding him?
Well, there's a joke that goes around between not just our team, I think all the teams, that Stanley's basically an import. He's an import disguised as a local. That's how he plays. And just like you said, he doesn't just do one thing. He doesn't just score. He can rebound. He can assist. He can run the team. I think it just depends on what Coach Tim wants him to do for that particular game, and he'll be able to do it.
Of course. And when you look at Stanley Pringle, you think of him as someone is he one of those guys that is ageless to you? Because he actually is up there in terms of age. But then the way he's playing right now, the way he has been playing for Barangay Henabra, it feels like he's just aging like wine.
I think Stanley is still at his prime. I think he'll be at his prime for a while, especially with that Henabra team. They're a very well-balanced team. He doesn't have to do too much, but at the same time...
So Aaron's net right now is a bit stuttery, so we're going to try and get him back, but that's at the same time talk a bit about some of the names that you mentioned here. And he mentioned a great name as a third one, and I think we do have him back. You can ask him about that.
Yes, Aaron, you also put Jason Castro on the list. And you know what? He's always, the favorite answer when it comes to players answering kung sino yung pinakamahirap na makalaro. What makes him tough to beat, Aaron?
Actually, funny thing, when I was growing up, my dad was actually coaching Jason at Talk and Text, and I used to watch him every day work out. And, first of all, he's not the type of guy that will shake you too much. He's not a guy that's going to be fancy, but he gets the job done. He can shoot the three. He can hit the mid-range. He's probably still the fastest guy in the league. And you cannot relax when you play against Jason. At any point in time, he can just blow by you and get to the rim.
Absolutely. You know what? Since you mentioned watching him as a kid when your dad used to coach him, your dad used to coach my dad. Maybe you could have gotten tips on him on how to defend players. But looking at Jason Castro, we called him the Blur in his prime. And is that first step still as dangerous as it used to be? Because if there's one thing that normally time takes away from you, it's that speed, it's that power in your legs.
Definitely is. I think it just goes to show how he played in the finals. They won the championship. He's still tough. One of the toughest guards to guard in the league. And just like I said, he's the type of guy you can't relax. You have to make sure you're always on your toes because at any point in time he can blow by you.
The names that you mentioned here. So you have Stanley, you have Jason, and then you have Terence. All of them with the ability to blow by you, go function one-on-one. But a lot of people might look at them, just look at their scoring numbers. I think a similarity with them also is the fact that they are more than that one-dimensional scorer, more than that just scoring at three levels. They do so much more for their ball club. What do you think that is?
Well, in terms of like somebody like Terence can easily get you 6-7 assists a game. And with guys like Junmar and you have CJ now and Marshall and Chris Ross, it's so easy to get assists on their team. And I'm sure we've seen him in certain games turn into that playmaker. In terms of Stanley and Jason, I think they're very similar in a sense that they can also rebound the ball. And when they do rebound the ball, they tend to start the break. Once they start the break, it's easier for the team to get into offense, or it's easier for them to score on fast breaks. Mm-hmm. So I think there's a lot of dimensions to all of their games that I would actually like to, or I do want to emulate as I go forward in my career.
Absolutely. And you know what, Aaron, we've been talking about other players and their characteristics. Pero ikaw, I wanted to ask, what makes you tough to beat? What is your impact on the Meralco Bulls?
Well, just like I talked about Stanley and Jason, I like to rebound the ball. I got that a lot. When I was younger, my dad that's actually how we started, rebounding, because he was such a good rebounding forward that he wanted me to rebound the ball. So, rebounding for me is big because I am the point guard, and it's easy for me once I rebound, I can push the ball, I can get it to my teammates. At the same time, I've been working a lot these last 2 years on distributing the ball, making sure that I get my teammates involved, and of course, scoring, trying to make my game, just like I said, from the three guys, a three-level game. If I can score in all three levels, that would be big for me going forward.
Absolutely, Aaron. I can't wait to see the development of your game, and hopefully you can ask your dad about how my dad defended people despite having zero athleticism.
I definitely will.
You should. You definitely should. But now we're not done with you yet, because after the break, we'll play a little game called Would You Rather, picking and choosing between qualities of our NBA idols. Stay tuned. You're watching the game.
back to the game. Earlier today, we saw our favorite superstars LeBron James, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, and Kevin Durant take the floor once again. As much as we appreciate their talent on the court, we can't help but compare the skills and other basketball skills that they have. And in light of these qualities, we shall now play a little game called Would You Rather?
Of course, Aaron Black still joining us here from the Morocco Bulls, playing the most wholesome Would You Rather game he's ever played in his entire life. I don't know the questions. I will be joining Aaron in this because you should never play Would You Rather by yourself. I take it away for us. Again, I have no idea what the questions are. Aaron doesn't know either.
Yep. First and foremost, we have, would you rather have Luka Doncic's step-back game or Kevin Durant's pull-up game?
Ooh, Aaron, you go first.
I'd rather have Kevin Durant's pull-up game. That's money. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta agree with you there. Kevin Durant's pull-up game, it just feels like one of the most efficient shots in basketball today. But then, I think when you look at Luka's step back, I don't think that's a final product. I don't know if you agree with me there, Aaron. I still think that he has a bit of refining to do. And once he has that everything down pat, it might actually be more deadly than the pull-up of KD. What do you think?
I don't know if it's going to be more deadly, but it's definitely going to be at par. I feel like Luka, percentage-wise, he's still not there when it comes to his three. So once he gets there, yeah, he's going to be really tough going forward.
Yes, and
All right. See, wholesome. Wholesome. Number 2,
secondly, would you rather have Steph Curry's unlimited range or Klay Thompson's shooting streaks?
I have to go with Steph. I feel like if somebody has to defend you all the way at the half-court line, it just opens it up for so much more, not just for you, but for your teammates as well. You can score anywhere on the court.
You know, this is difficult because I don't think people realize just how hot Klay can get, or people remember how hot he can get. I remember there was a game where he had, I forgot how many three-pointers that was, but like 4 dribbles. And,
yeah.
Yeah, right? I forgot which game that was. And that's just how hot he can get. I think his hot streaks, I understand that it's more consistent having the range of a Steph Curry. But then, really, how many half-court shots do you expect the guy to take? And how much defending do you expect to be effective at near the halfway mark? And me personally, I think I may go with Klay here compared to Steph's range, limitless range. Because remember, Klay has range too. Like, you can't forget about that. Yeah.
Yes, and thirdly, would you rather have Giannis' size and athleticism or LeBron James' basketball IQ?
Oh, that's tough. That is tough. I think because I'm a point guard and everything, I would rather have LeBron James' IQ. I think his IQ might be top 3 all time, up there with Magic Johnson and maybe MJ.
Really?
You give somebody else, because MJ's IQ is actually underrated. So yeah, I think I go with LeBron's IQ.
Yeah, you know, I actually might think I'll go with LeBron's IQ as well, simply because, you know, me personally, I just talk about basketball, so having that IQ will really do me well. But still,
That's true.
Giannis's athleticism, I think it's an all-time trait that honestly, I don't know who could match it, at least in this particular generation. People might have to go all the way back to Wilt the Stilt to really match his level of athleticism in terms of, you know, the size, combination, and the handles that he has. Doesn't have the shooting touch, doesn't have all of that, but then the athleticism, that's one of the main reasons why he ended up as an MVP. So if anyone chooses that over LeBron's IQ, completely understand. But I think for the tools of our trade, Aaron, we kind of need that IQ.
The IQ is different. It's different than LeBron IQ.
We have something else, Ai?
Yes, next up, would you rather have LaMelo Ball's flashiness or Chris Paul's steady leadership?
Oh, I thought you said Charles Chu's leadership. I wouldn't agree with that. So LaMelo's flashiness, Chris Paul's leadership. I'll let you go first, Aaron.
I think I'd have to go with Chris Paul's leadership.
Yeah.
I think flashiness is something that, you know, it's nice for Instagram and things like that, but Chris Paul's leadership is basically, aside from his play, of course, is what's kept him in the league for so long. Not just in the league, but his relevance in the league has been has been so much more than people that he came in the league with. I think he came in 2005, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And he's still a relevant guy at 2021. So I think the leadership.
I agree with that. I think the leadership is the way to go here. This is basically a flash versus substance question, and depending on what you want your goal is, I think Chris Paul's would be better in terms of where you want to go, where you want your team to be. But I think in terms of what the industry actually is, because basketball is entertainment, LaMelo would be a great choice as well. But then CP3's leadership all the way for me personally. As you take a look at LaMelo, just look at his swag in general. Really, for some reason, it looks so simple. It looks like there's nothing there, but it just looks so good. He does it so well, and the Hornets are must-watch basketball because of LaMelo.
And you know what? I'm not done yet.
No,
with
you're not.
the
No, you're not.
Hornets.
Wow.
Yeah. Would you rather have LeVar Ball as your dad or Charles Barkley as your uncle? I mean, Bulls or Hornets? Pili ka na lang.
You know what? LeVar Ball as your dad might not be that bad because he did get all of his sons, well, 2 out of the 3 of his sons in the league, and he made them relevant basically, just by hyping him up on all these shows. But I don't know, I like Charles, so I might have to go with Charles Barkley as my uncle. Charles he seems like the funniest dude. It'd be nice to have him as an uncle.
Charles would put on so many side bets on all the things that we love, and he would lose each and every time. You would end up richer just by being associated with Charles. Having LeVar as your dad, I remember talking to Kobe Paras, who would talk about LeVar Ball because he actually knew the guy and said that he was actually very loving beyond his persona, beyond what people expect. So that might not actually be a bad thing as compared to what people do perceive because he's such a loud guy. But still, that doesn't take me away from the fact that I want to win some money off Charles Barkley.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, and that will do it, I think, for that. Oh no, there's one more.
I have one
Oh,
last. I think
okay.
it's my favorite question.
Okay,
Oh my goodness.
there's a favorite
Yes,
question
it's
here.
a favorite question of mine. Would you rather have James Harden's beard or Anthony Davis's unibrow?
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to go with the beard. I don't know with the I've never been a fan of the unibrow.
Is that a personal preference?
But I think it would look good on Paolo though. The unibrow would look good on Paolo.
But
I think
unibrow-
that's what he should pick.
No,
Makes a statement.
Look, I think I could rock the unibrow simply because if you turn me into a puppet and to turn me into a Muppet and had me with a unibrow on this desk right now, I think that would be one of the best characters you've ever seen.
You
James.
need to see that.
No, I mean, like, look, if someone can make a puppet of me right now with a unibrow, I think it would work. No joke. But, I digress. That beard, though, is iconic. I think Aaron could rock it. Not gonna lie, if he grows a beard like James Harden, I'm pretty sure he'll become the best three-point shooter in PBA history. And
I might have to.
Yeah, I think you gotta try it at the very least. Anyway, that'll do it for arguably the strangest body of the game I've ever been a part of. Aaron, thank you very much for joining us. That was a lot of fun, and we can't wait to see you back on the court soon.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
After the break, we'll break down how Jaja Santiago, Bryan Bagunas, and Marck Espejo continues to raise the flag in the Japan V.League. Stay tuned. You're watching the game.
Welcome back to the game. Filipinos have continuously been raising the flag in the Japanese V-League. Tonight, to help us round up the performances of Jaja, Santiago, Bryan, Bagunas, and Marck Espejo, we have our volleyball analyst and our resident super fan, Mac Bengadora, Junicio Bengs. Welcome to the game. Kamusta ka?
Hi.
Ayun, alam mo, gusto ko lang talagang tanungin, ano yung overall feeling mo sa performance ni Maring Jaja Santiago sa V-League?
Ito yung proud moment talaga to be a Filipino kasi she is consistently in the top 5 of best attackers and best blockers.
Yeah.
And even at one point, she was number 2 in both departments. So for her to be able to do that in a league as big as the Japan V-League, that's something to be proud of for every single one of us Filipinos.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, that pride, we really feel it every time we see an update on Jaja and what she's doing over there in Japan. Syempre, napapangiti ka eh. And by the way, I'm really enjoying the smile that you brought into the show, and you're definitely one of my favorite follows on social media. Now that we look now at the performance of another import here, talk about Bryan naman, syempre, and his return as an import sa Japan.
Bryan, he is way better now than the last time that he was in Japan. His performance, para lang siyang naglalaro sa Pilipinas because his numbers are just as good. In one game, he even had 23 points, which could have matched another import's numbers from Cuba. And see the talent that we have is already matching those na from Cuba, which is a big volleyball country as well. So again, another pride for Filipinos itong si Bryan Bagunas.
Mark, you know, you talk a bit about yung improvement niya dito. You even say that he is matching up with some of the bigger names, some of the bigger players from the bigger nations in terms of volleyball world out there in Japan. What do you think is the big difference kung bakit mas magaling siya ngayon compared to last year?
I guess ganun yung mga type of players na mga I'm sorry, but the A-list players, the A-list athletes that we have, when they feel like they've underperformed, you can expect them to bounce back right away by the next time they get a chance to do so. And Bryan Bagunas is like that. So he wasn't perfectly happy with how he performed the last time. So now that he had another chance, talagang binibigay niya lahat eh. Kaya naman, sobrang galing.
Yes. And Banks, digs, receptions, overall floor defense, how was our male phenom, si Marck Espejo? Surprised us all sa ligang to.
Sobrang surprising kasi talagang nasa na siya, he was picked for the All-Stars.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal kasi imagine mo how many talented Japanese volleyball players are in there, and they rank among some of the best teams in the world. And for you to be included in that, na may mga imports pa, again, big deal. They are opening opportunities not only for themselves but for young Filipino players to dream bigger than just collegiate leagues and the club leagues here in the country.
Absolutely. Pioneers for sure, especially when you look at yung achievements nila so far. And of course, we can't leave our talk about volleyball without talking about the latest development here. When you have to talk about the Nations League happening here in the Philippines, unang-una, anong reaction mo when you found out about the teams coming here? Actually, I want to read out yung tweet mo ng all caps when the thing came out. But I'll let you react to it right now with less emotion, Mac.
Yung pwede lang sa TV.
Oh, yung pwede lang sa TV muna. Yung mga hindi pwede sa TV, check yung Twitter niya.
No, it was very exciting kasi during the pandemic, isa yung VNL sa mga tournaments na nag-push through. So, yun yung pinanood ng mga tao, ng mga fans na local volleyball fans. Now, we will all get a chance to see those players live. Tapos, that will be every day kasi one day is for the men's, the next day would be for the women's, and then so on and so forth. So, every single day for one whole week, I guess, or more, tuloy-tuloy na volleyball with these top-tier players. Very exciting. I hope 2022 na. Tara na, let's skip the rest.
Malapit
of this
na.
year.
Malapit na yan, Mac. Oo.
Absolutely, kasi nakaka-inspire yun para sa mga batang volleyball player na makakita ng mga international players dito sa scene natin. Pero meron pa akong isang tanong, Bengs. Special mention lang sa Japan. Gaano ka ka-excited makita sila maglaro dito?
I don't, to be honest, I am not the biggest fan of watching international volleyball.
Yeah.
Kasi I feel na it would make me look at local volleyball na parang ay medyo mas mabagal, ay medyo mas may talo. Pero when I watched the VNL this year, sobrang na-excite ako lalo na for Yuki Ishikawa pagpunta niya dito. Sana Team A ng Japan yung pumunta, so please send him here, Japan, please.
Absolutely. And you know what, this para sa akin, I look at this big competition coming here, all of the big names that could potentially come here. How can this inspire yung susunod na generation ng volleyball players seeing this type of world-class action dito sa Pilipinas?
Well, we just have to look back a little. Leila Barrios, when she went here, Filipinos went crazy, and I believe for the yung mga batch ng volleyball players na nag-start nitong pag-boom ng sport, they were all looking up to her.
Yeah.
So with these players coming in, we are gonna start another generation of players na iba yung basihan nila kung gaano kagaling ka dapat.
Absolutely.
That's what we will see.
Absolutely. Marck, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate how honest you were with all of your answers and very TV friendly. So thank you very much, and we can't wait to see you again soon.
Thank you, bye!
Thank you for joining us. I'm Mai Tinsay.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.